does go up against a quad one opponent in Clemson tomorrow at 2 p.m. We've got a lot of Mike Rutherford listeners still sticking around for the first few minutes of the show, per usual, here on the Ticket Puncher. So let's continue on this chatter and see where your head's at. Give some more thoughts I've got on this game, as we've got a very, very close line. Cards favored by 1.5 points, basically a pick'em here in this one. Won't be surprised if this goes down to 1 point. Or maybe even up, depending on how the money starts to roll in on this one, Philly. But Pat Kelsey looking to get the job done against Clemson again. However, a lot of circumstances interesting to this one, Philly, because Louisville hasn't gotten the job done against these kinds of opponents this season outside of Kentucky. And Clemson's coming into this one on a 4-game losing streak, meaning they're very, very hungry to get back into the win column, get back their season going the direction they wanted to, and not letting that seed line for them continue to drop. We've seen what Louisville looks like when they go up against teams that have that more that hungrier aspect to them. They have that more aggression because of whatever their season circumstance is. When you look at the way SMU played, needing a victory against a team like us in that last matchup we had against them on the road. Same spot here with the way that Clemson's probably going to be going into this one mentally. How do you view this one, Philly?
Yeah, the books have been showing Louisville a lot of love for reasons that I don't really know. I guess they're expecting the upside of a team that should be really good. But, Roman, we've talked about it all season. I haven't thought Louisville was going to cover spread since maybe one of the first few conference games, and I don't think we're going to cover here. I see that I think the line is flipped in our favor. We're favored by 1.5 now, and I just think that is just a missed line read. Louisville is 3-6 on the road. With those wins being against Cal, Pitt, and Wake Forest, not very impressive. And we're facing a good Clemson team that I know is on a little slide right now. But like you said, they're at home, and they'll have a little bit of momentum facing a really good opponent. And so, yeah, I think Clemson does ultimately get this done. I'm not the type of guy that's going to wager against my team, but if I was to put a few bucks on this game, it would be on the Clemson side. I don't know, for some reason on the road, we tend to not play a full game of a brand of basketball that we're used to playing. So I would lean that Clemson side.
I understand it, Philly. I have a lot of friends of mine that are leaning that Clemson direction when they see if they're going to give Clemson plus money on their home floor against the Cards team that we haven't necessarily met expectations even in a lot of our road games, needless to say, exceeded them. I can understand where you're coming from. I'm leaning on the Cards here. I do think that this is a spot for us to get right against an opponent that I'm not going to say. Here's how I'll say this. Personnel-wise, I think we match up well. I think that when you look at who they play, who plays the most minutes for them, who plays the most minutes for us, there are a lot of rotations and lineups out there where I would favor the way that we're going to be able to produce. With that being said, Clemson is a team that likes to run up opposition guards off the three-point line. They want to force you into extremely tough twos right around the basket with their two big guys. They got two guys sitting at 6'10", over 200 pounds. They're not centers, neither one of them. One does play more of the 5 role. One does play more of the 4 role. And they're not good shot blockers, but they are good at contesting. They're athletic and they're long. They want to force you into those guys and make you make tough decisions once they've kind of crowded you in that paint and made it tough to get into that paint with the way that they hand check and body check and throw the shoulders and elbows, because that's just what Brownell teams do. That's why Louisville's not had success visiting Clemson on their home floor ever, Yeah. Who has had success against Clemson is Pat Kelsey. Beat him twice last year, beat him once when he was at Winthrop. We know that the kind of philosophy for them this season is going to be similar to last season. Granted, they'll probably shift things a bit offensively. You know that they're going to go down to the kid on the block because there's one of those kids down there can create a bit. They're not going to burn you from the three-point line. They've got young guards that are playing. They're going to play in this game. They don't force a lot of turnovers, but the young guards will turn the ball over against good teams. I think you've got to try to just take care of the basketball as much as possible in this one. We can't have those crazy runs of multiple turnovers in a 10-minute span like we've seen Louisville do in these last 3 games. Take care of the basketball, rebound the basketball hard, and just come out with that aggressive factor. You should be able to do what the last 4 teams have done to this same Clemson team, and that's win the guard matchup. Guards kind of expose the guards' defensive ability for them, and they take good twos when they do take those twos, right? We know Louisville hasn't taken a lot of floaters and mid-range shots. We know we've seen it a little bit more recently just out of Michael and Ryan Conwell. Zugris obviously has thrown one up. Ali Khalifa's had a floater. Sanan Nafru's had a floater. Each of those guys has had literally like one. Nobody taking mid-ranges outside of Michael truly other than the one Ryan Conwell attempt or two we've seen. So hopefully Pat Kelsey starts unlocking the leash for them to start taking those kinds of shots because that has been a factor against defenses that do defend us well and force us into those uncomfortable spots. That's when Louisville doesn't make good decisions. I think this is a good opponent to kind of change that narrative here tonight. So I'm going to lean Cards. I think Cards can get a 4 to 5 point victory against this Clemson team with the way that their offense has looked. Our offense has to be on point, though, Philly. That's going to be key in here. We've got to get over our, I think, point average of 84, 85 points per game. If we can get up to that kind of a point average, I just don't think Clemson has enough firepower to match it. Now, if we've got 18 turnovers and we're shooting 8 for 30 from 3, 8 from 40 from 3, then it's your 8 threes is still a good amount, but that's when you're talking about a Louisville team that's probably having a lot of bad shot selections, not, thoroughly taking advantage of their possessions. Clemson wants to play super, super slow, Philly. Like they're one of they force teams into like the third most seconds per possession out of the shot clock out of all college D1 teams. It's some crazy numbers with all pace numbers for them all being super low, meaning they force the pace, or opposition numbers being super high because of the way that their defense operates. Does that kind of make you want to look into this over-under a bit?
I mean, if the game is played at their pace, then this could definitely be an under game, and I don't think that bodes well for our sake. But if
we speed it up, I like that over 146.5.
True, yeah. If we speed it up, try to force some turnovers on that defensive ends, lead to some fast breaks, then that'll definitely force them to try to score some points in matches. So yeah. Do you know what the over and under is sitting at?
It's at 146.5 right now. I think this goes up to 147 or 148. Yeah. I know Clemson's offense has been shaky, but I do think that if there's anything Louisville is going to do, it's going to at least try to – I'm not going to say, enforce their will in the game, but they are going to try to enforce their pace. So give me – for the first official punch early in the show today, and this isn't even a Friday punch, Philly, I'm laying the 146.5 over for this Louisville-Clemson game.
I like that. It feels like all of our road games have been pretty much high scoring because we're scoring, but we're also giving up points on that defensive end as well. So
I expect Clemson to score more than they have been recently. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, you're asking just south of 75 apiece. So I'm not mad.
If we can get up to that 84 plus, 83 plus points, we know what we've been allowing here as of late to teams of this caliber. If Louisville gets a victory, I think they've got a victory hitting that over, right? Yeah. If the under does hit, Louisville probably loses this game.
Yeah, we need more out of Conwell. I think he's been sliding the last few games. Obviously, McNeely, he's been very inconsistent from the 3-point line, and obviously down low, we just need a presence down low. Frew been on and off with his physicality. We just need him to be a little bit stronger down there. And
need Kanai to be on his A game. We know Kanai was sick, got back onto the floor, then hadn't really been himself in these last handful of games, other than finally recently at least looking like he's got the energy back. So you get a fully energized Kanai to come in and play those big minutes at the 4 spot.
Yeah,
Ali Khalifa can do anything. If you can get 2 3-pointers from Ali Khalifa in a game like this, I do like your chances. And let's see if we can prevent a McNeely over, right? I don't want another 0 for 6, 0 for 7 McNeely performance here in this one. We do have J.R. Anderson joining the stream now. We know J.R. sometimes does have to work, not always be able to get right here at 5:30, but he does always make the show. Joining us now, our handicapper, J.R. J.R., we're chatting about Louisville basketball going up against Clemson tomorrow, 2 o'clock, getting to see another quad 1 team here. Cards 1.5-point favorites. 146.5 over under. I've already placed the 146.5 as an official punch for the weekend of punches, but how are you feeling about the Cards and their chances against Clemson tomorrow, JR?
I haven't looked too much into it. Are we at home?
It's on the road. It's in Clemson.
And what's Clemson's overall record?
Same as ours, sitting at 20-8.
Yeah, so it's ACC play. I mean, I like us. I feel like after that last game, which was very disappointing, I think we can bounce back in this spot and respond pretty well. You said Clemson's favorite -1.5?
No, we're sitting at the favorite spot at 1.5 right now.
I like that. I would take us to cover that or money line outright. I like. We've been traveling pretty decent. I just think that we got off to a really slow start in that last one, and I think Kelsey probably got him fired up over the last few days, and I think we'll be ready to come out and get this Dubsky.
That's what I'm kind of leaning as well. Clemson, obviously, like we mentioned just a few minutes ago, they're looking at a bounce back spot, coming off 4 bad losses. So they're going to be hungry. That's why I think this line's kind of so even. Numbers kind of suggesting Louisville the better team here in this one. But when you look at the circumstances for the two teams, both going to be eager to get a win here. And we've never beat them on their home floor, but that it can change given the circumstances for tonight. I love our guards. Their guards kind of been shaky. Michael, Ryan, go take advantage. Fellas, let's look into more for the weekend here. Not necessarily punch-wise. Actually, before we do that, I've got to ask you guys, have you guys seen the Tez Johnson and Terrion Arnold news? Philly, have you gotten a chance to read up on this?
Yeah, I've read up a little bit on the Terrion Arnold, but not the Tez Johnson, though.
I mean, I know this is a betting show, and we give out our wagers every day, but we also like to talk about the news of what's happening in sports. I think it's absolutely insane that Terrion Arnold felt to go on full vigilante mode. And, I mean, what was lawfully him being in the right and was probably going to be able to get a lot of his belongings and what was ever stolen out of his rental property, if not back, definitely paid for, right? I'm sure he has some kind of insurance being a rental property owner. So, I mean, why is $100,000 sitting in one of your rental properties? I don't know. With that being said, he went the kidnapping route, Philly, and he's gotten some charges now. This is going to impact probably the Lions offseason a little bit with your best secondary player now being here in cahoots with the law. But what we know about the NFL is they're going to, when it's players like this on good teams, won't be surprised if everything's cleared and taken care of somehow by training camp. What did you think? What did you make of this?
Yeah, interesting situation. And I think that just shows you what type of, that's how he is on the field, just making bonehead decisions right there. So I didn't really understand it either. So it was just interesting to see him actually do that. Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing. So
yeah. JR, let me know if you have anything to add on to that. Tez Johnson also getting involved with his ex-girlfriend the day he proposes to what was going to be his fiance, and then getting involved with his ex-girlfriend the same day after proposing to his fiance, cheating on her twice in one day, and letting the proof of that come out and losing his marriage, his engagement with his ex-fiance now. These young athletes, man, they're just they don't know how to handle prime time when they're young and when they're in the beginning of their careers like this. There's got to be more mentorship going on when you've got young studs in your program. And I get Tez Johnson didn't do anything crazy, but he was still I feel like you can put him in the elite rookie receiver category. With that being said, we saw what Egbuka did. We know that there was a lot of elite rookie play, but he was still right up there with them. And this is kind of crazy news that was come out there. Just a little bit of NBA news or NFL news for the day. JR, what'd you think of those two stories?
No comment.
Yeah, no surprise. No surprise. We know JR likes to, he likes to keep it about the bets or about the on-field stuff.
I'm joking. It's you're on a rookie deal, man. You got to have. Hopefully, the village around him can rally from this and get him on the right track. If not, I know Dan Campbell definitely will be putting belt to butt and getting him into shape. And maybe sometimes you gotta just make better decisions, man. Especially when you're on a rookie contract, looking to make a splash on a really good team. You can't be doing stuff like this. In professional sports, stories like this will follow you for the rest of your tenure.
Yeah. Can impact how much money you're going to be able to make going forward. Even if you do continue to produce on the field, these kind of stories can be limiting both in free agency and in contract talks. So hopefully these young boneheaded guys get back on the right path. Fellas, let's look into the rest of the weekend here. Potential Eastern Conference Finals preview tonight, fellas. I made the tweet. I'm going to go ahead and call my shot. I was wrong about the Pistons earlier on in the season. I now do believe that they have what it takes to be an Eastern Conference Finals team, even with the shaky last couple of weeks of play that they've had going up against some of the top teams. Defensively, they have got it. Offensively, I don't think they're ready to win a championship or even necessarily make it to a finals. I won't go that far yet. Just when you look at the lack of consistency from the scoring department outside of a couple of players for this Piston side. You know what you're going to get from Cade. You know what you're going to get from Jalen Duren when he's not going up against one of the 2 or 3 types of bigs that can negate what he does. Outside of that, offensively, it's still a little bit shaky going on for the Pistons sometimes when they go up against good defensive teams, and they got to get that figured out.
Can I ask you, who do you have matching up with them in that final?
In the Eastern Conference Finals, I think the Cavaliers have what it takes to get there. I think partially I'm there mentally because of just how unimpressed I am with the New York Knicks and Mike Brown's change of this offensive philosophy. You thought that he was going to come in and innovate with these guys with this athleticism. And I mean, I feel like people like saying that the Knicks are a great 3-point shooting team. They're one of the streakiest 3-point shooting teams with some of the shooters that they've got. You don't get offensive prowess outside of that dunker spot in Josh Hart. He is a transition player. If you have to slow things down and get into half court, he's limiting you, right? He's limiting what Cat can be when this floor is not being spaced. All of those little kinds of things that they've got to get worked out. And I get, OG's injury goes into that, getting him back onto the floor, getting Mikal Bridges back fully shooting the basketball at a high level and whatnot. All of those things go into play. The depth is not there for the Knicks, and the offensive philosophy that Mike Brown's instilled outside of Brunson, they're not really getting it. They're not really molding together. And I know that the offensive was the biggest thing. It can't just be Brunson high screen and roll and him make a play in the playoffs, because they're going to get the best team's defender, and he's going to get wore out come fourth quarter when you do that. Cat, I mean, yeah, he's picked it up with the rebounds. He's not shooting the ball at a high level. He is when he shoots it. He's not shooting it enough. You can't be the best shooting big and that be a matchup based thing. That worries me about the Knicks. JR, am I wrong?
No, I agree. There's been a lot of scrutiny around Mike Brown's offense and how they utilize Cat. I do think they need to, try to feed him a little bit more earlier, kind of like what the Lakers have done here recent. Luka used to be the guy to come out, try to get you 22 in the first quarter. And here recently, they've been trying to spread the love a little bit more early and then allow your superstar to be the superstar as the game progresses, but to get everybody involved. So they're not just standing in the corner waiting for
they're ready to shoot later on in the game.
Yeah, kind of feed the big fella early. Wet the beak a little bit. Let him get going, get oiled up. So they definitely need to change something. The Brunson, type of offense will not get you very far unless he's scoring 40 every game, which he's capable of. But wear and tear does play a factor. He dealt with a lot of ankle stuff last year in the playoffs, so we'll see how they look this year. But definitely need to get the big fella involved.
How do you feel about the potential matchup tonight? You think that's an Eastern Conference matchup, Philly? Conference Finals matchup?
I think potentially. Y'all both know that I do like the Cavs that was my preseason to win the finals. So I do think they stay there, potentially get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I love what the Pistons have been doing. I still want to see it in 7-game series, though. If Cade has a off shooting night like we saw the other night versus Spurs, then you're going to have those others step up consistently in a 7-game series. So I would like to see that. I'm not fully there with the Pistons on getting to Eastern Conference Finals or to a finals. I still have to see it, but at the moment, these are two of the best teams in the NBA right now. They're both playing phenomenal basketball, but like I said, in the playoffs, I just want to see that happen in a 7-game series. So
I like it. Fellas, let's get into our official punches. Got about 5 or 6 minutes before we do start wrapping up the show here on the radio side of things today. Philly, I'll let you start off because I know that there is some NCAA baseball action on today and tomorrow that you may be wanting to get into. Give us your Friday, Saturday, and even if you've got any Sunday, give us the whole weekend official punch.
Yeah, I'll start off with tonight. We have Florida and Miami, 2 top 25 teams going at it. And although Friday nights, when most teams have their ace on the mound, I don't think it's going to matter in this game. I think we see a boatload of runs, over and under sitting at 11.5. I got it at -115. I thought this line would open up more around 13 or 14.5. So I think we're getting a really good price at 11.5 at -115. Because both of these offenses are very good. and I think it's going to be a lot of runs scored. Playing in Florida, it's going to be good weather. So, yeah, that's one of my official punches. And then the game already started, but I did have UCLA and Tennessee, another top 25 matchup. UCLA, #1 right now. I had their -1.5. I think that started at 4, so I know they was up 4-0. But yeah, I love what UCLA's been doing on the mound and hitting wise. So yeah, that's all I have for college baseball.
I like it. Anything in the NBA tonight, JR?
Yeah, I haven't got to dig a lot so far. I know my triple punch will be Cason Wallace. We're going to take his assist again over 2.5. It was -150 last time I looked at it, but looks like that has since then gone up to -174. So unless y'all's 2 triple punch legs can balance it out, I might switch it by the time we put it out on the Twitter. But also like Chet Holmgren's 1.5 assists at -154 as well. But
I like it.
I'll push out the rest of my legs here when I get home in about 20 minutes when we get to the Twitter page.
Love those. I got a team total for tonight, or a game total for tonight that I'm on. Net Celtics over 208.5. I know that the Celtics have been great defensively. I know this is a potential blowout spot here in this one with the 17.5 point line. Even with it being a blowout spot, I still think the Nets can score enough in this one to get over that 208 mark. I think the Celtics go crazy potentially here at home on this spot against a team that the fans come out for. I think this will be a pretty rowdy game. So give me the over 208.5 there in that one. Like we mentioned, Cavaliers, Detroit going at it tonight. But we're going to have James Harden, I believe, in this one, fellas. No Donovan Mitchell in this one. I think as it stands, still dealing with his injury. Give me James Harden on the 20-plus points at -132 here in this one. I think that Cavs should still be able to play hard even without Donovan Mitchell going up against this Detroit side. I think James gets going offensively here in this one with the scoring. So give me James 20-plus points on the Pistons Cavs game. That's all I've really got because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is projected to be back tonight for the Nuggets Thunder game. I was going to take Nuggets money line until I saw this news. I still kind of want to lean the 8.5. You know what? I'm going to drop the 8.5. Give me the Nuggets plus 8.5 in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's return. I think they keep this close. I do think the Thunder win the game, but I think it's one of those exciting playoff-esque type of games here in this one. Those are going to be my 3 official punches. Philly, anything in the NBA tonight?
Yeah, I got 2 player props. I'll start off with the Nets and Celtics game. And I'm going to target Nick Claxton over 6.5 rebounds. He's been a little inconsistent in the month of February, but versus Celtics, he's been pretty consistent all season long. 3 games played against him. He's had 11, 11, and 9 rebounds. Even with an 18.5 point spread, the Nets have, other than the 14-point loss, you beat the Celtics. And you lost to the Celtics in a double overtime game. So I think this is going to be a little bit closer than what the line projects. So I think 7 rebounds is very doable. And then I'm going to also target Cason Wallace like JR did. But I'm going to target the 3-pointers, something I haven't really been taking this year. But his 2 threes is sitting at +110. When I saw it, it's at +120. So it's dropping down a little bit. Shai does come back. But, even the last 3 games, he's had 3, 4, and 4 3-pointers made. He's been scoring a lot more. I think even with Shai back versus the Nuggets earlier this season with Shai, he had 7 3-pointers. I don't expect him to hit 7 tonight, but I think 2 is very doable, especially if he shoots 5 or 6 attempts. So, Cason Wallace, 3 + 3 +110.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
On Nick Claxton, his points and assists is plus money for 13.5. That's a really good line for +100 if you guys want some plus money. And then his PRA on Claxton, 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists is -115. I really love that in this matchup. I don't think Vucevic can guard him, and I think he's going to have a field day overall.
I agree.
Just double down. Yep. Double down.
He had a triple-double versus them earlier this season, too. He had 12 assists.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I think against Vucevic, I think that matchup's going to even be more of a barbecue chicken alert.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple Saturday punches as well, fellas. I'm rocking with Vanderbilt money line. They are going up against Kentucky on the road. I'm fading Kentucky, fading those cats. I like the guard play from Vandy. I think those guards can get over on Kentucky and take advantage. You notice you get a wishy-washy Kentucky game every other game. You don't really know what you're going to get out of them. I think Vandy's ready to play here, and this one try to up their potential seeding that they can get as well. I also, like we mentioned, like Louisville, Clemson, over 146.5. That's my other Saturday punch. And then lastly, plus money prop for the Saturday slate. Give me Alabama money line straight up over Tennessee on the road. Bama 5.5-point dogs going up against Tennessee. And I know Tennessee, they've got the size and defense for a fast and fast-paced shooting team like Bama. I think the scoring for Bama is going to prevail, though. You see the over-under 164.5. That being that high kind of makes me want to naturally feel like Bama's the more set team for if it does get to that kind of scoring. So those are my three punches for Saturday. And then for Sunday, we didn't have anything I loved ultimately in basketball, but we do have a soccer play for Sunday. Arsenal-Chelsea going at it. Give me the Arsenal-Chelsea total under 3.5 in this one. I'm probably going to play the 2.5 as well if you want a Sunday soccer play. Fellas, any other official punches on the weekend before we get out of here for the radio side of things and get into the X and YouTube stream for our triple punch parlay?
All good over here.
All right, and with that being said, that's going to wrap us up here on the Ticket Punchers. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all so much for listening. Stay tuned on YouTube and on X for that triple punch if you want it. And we'll be back on Monday with more streaming, more plays on X this weekend as well. Fellas, let's go punch those tickets.
Punch those tickets.
All right, welcome back in. If you're tuned in here on the X and on the YouTube page, Philly, JR, can you guys still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I haven't gotten the green circle the whole show for some reason, like engaging, showing that my microphone's engaged. But, fellas, let's get that triple punch. JR, I didn't write yours down when you mentioned it. Can you give it? It was Case and Wallace, but I don't remember the prop.
I'll switch it to Chet Holmgren, 1.5 assists, minus 154, I believe.
Okay, Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, he's last 5, 100%. So was Kaysen with Shea coming back. It might affect it a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
But-
Kaysen's minutes might get impacted a little.
Yeah, he's been in his bag, but I still think 3 might be a stretch. But also, they took all the fluff out of it. It was like minus 146, then it moved to 140, minus 144, 154, and now it's like minus 174. So it's not a good line for the triple unless y'all's is more juicy. Then it would average it out. But I like Chet for 2 for sure. Some dunk downs to Shea, or kick outs to Shea, or cross center lobs to Art's team.
What do you think? Oh, well, we lost Philly Picks in here. There he is.
Yeah.
What do you like for your triple punch piece for tonight, Philly?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I had to reconnect there. Somebody called me. My bad. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to get an alt line real fast. I'm gonna play Illinois on an alternate line. I'm seeing which odds are the best. Did you already drop yours, Roman?
Not yet. I can go ahead and do so. You said you're going to look for an alt line for Illinois. Okay.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Yep, Illinois plus 3.5 at minus 184. I really wanted to just take them on the money line. I'll just be safe in case it comes down to a close game. But I think Illinois, I want to say they beat Michigan 9 times in a row. I get it. Michigan, maybe the best team in the country, but after the last 2 games, they've looked a little flawful, if you will. And the Illinois they're at home where they're 13-2. They've won 14 of their last 16 games. Those 2 losses, both being in overtime to a good Wisconsin team, to a good Michigan team, or Michigan State team, excuse me. So I think Illinois keeps this very close at home. I think they win outright, but I'll take the plus 3.5 just to be safe if this comes down to like the last possession.
I got my triple punch for tonight, fellas. It's going to be the Ducks money line. The Anaheim Ducks going up against the Winnipeg Jets.
Love it.
Ducks don't lose at home. Ducks don't lose at home. Winnipeg, not bad on the road, but nowhere near 500. Just not the same level of offense on the road for Winnipeg. And with the way that the Ducks have been operating here as of late, obviously getting their first game back, getting 6 goals across in their first game back. Defense did allow 5, but I expect them to kind of amp up the defense here a bit now they're back into the flow of things. Give me the Ducks straight up.
I like the Ducks. I was leaning towards them too.
I don't know why, but watching the Olympic hockey team got me wanting to watch some hockey here lately.
Tap in.
Yeah,
that was the
most underrated sport.
The Jets goalie, that was USA's goalie for the tournament, Helly Buck. But hockey's fun to watch, man. If you're invested into it, I don't watch it just for fun for the most part. I did Olympic, but just wagering on it and then just watching it does become fun.
What was that alt line, Philly?
Plus 3.5, minus 184.
And we can catch the Ducks money line at minus 137. And what was Holmgren sitting at?
Odds.
Yeah.
Let me pull it back up here. I believe it was minus 154 over 1.5 assists, 6 games in a row.
All right, fellas. I've got to jump out because we've got Bellarmine getting started back up here on the radio, unfortunately, but I'm going to get that triple punch sent in to the graphic maker and get that posted. Fellas, let's just make sure we get our official punches posted as well.
Yep.
You guys obviously feel free to continue. I know, JR, you're in the car, though. So
yeah, I just got home. I was going to see if y'all had other shows to jump on because I'm not doing nothing in 30 minutes if y'all wanted to jump on and stream something. But
I'll be in Bellarmine. I'll be with this Bellarmine stream, unfortunately. But
okay.
I probably can't hear enough for you, but I'll have to let you know.
Yeah, let me know.
All right. Shout out to our listeners here as well, tapping in with us on the stream. Fellas, let's go punch those tickets.
Punch those tickets. Hey, Roman.
Punch some tickets.
What's up?
Yesterday, when I was watching the 3-man front, but afterwards, there was a hockey segment. Is that on every Thursday?
That must have been national.
Oh, okay.
That was the VSiN Vegas radio show.
Oh, okay. Because it was a betting segment, and I stayed on for about 15 minutes after and was listening to their.
Now that show is the same every day at that time, which I can give you. I listen to that. That's the only sports radio that I listen to regularly outside of the Big X. Actually,
okay.
I'll be truthful. It's the only sports radio that I listen to outside of the Big X.
Right.
Is our national. It's that VSiN. It's this sports betting company out in Vegas. It's all day sports radio. I mean, sports betting radio.
Right.
But they had 2 or 3 of those shows are I don't know how well they're really. I'd like to see their hit rate. And then there's 2 or 3 of those shows where I'm like, this shit's free. And it's actually not free. If you want access to their plays, but their shows are free. And I like listening to them just to the plays that some of those handicappers are willing to give out. I like listening and then just watching, then going back to that show the next day, hearing 2 or 3 days of their plays in a row. But yeah, it's called VSiN, VSIN. They've got an app. It's all free. But that's whenever there's nothing being played sourced from the Big X, literally any point of the day, we play VSiN, which is only, after 6 p.m. or if like somebody cancels their radio show in the middle of the day.
Okay, bet that.
But yeah, I listen to it every morning. Anytime I've got to drive more than like 10 or 15 minutes, I'll listen to that instead of music.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like, I do sports betting radio. Why not listen to other guys do sports betting radio? Listen to how they do it. See if I can add some tweaks to my game.
Right. Okay.
You don't listen to Stephen A. Smith?
When did you guys stop listening to Stephen A? I'd say like I gave him till like 2022. I think is when I really checked out.
I still listen to him. I like listening to Mad Dog Radio on Sirius XM. Since I'm in the car, I got the SXM subscription, so I like listening to them. And
I listen to Wendy. I listen to Bill Simmons.
Yeah,
I don't like Bill Simmons, but I listen to him.
Yeah. The only one I don't like is Dan Orlovsky. He's an idiot.
I can't stand Dan.
Yeah.
Really? So some of his points make me not want to stand him, but I also think he sometimes brings some really good points in. Now one person didn't. Yeah, I think so.
When he's talking about teams, I don't mind him. When he's talking about players,
did you see what he said about Mendoza?
I mean, he had a bad take on my Bears when he said the Packers was gonna blow out the Bears in the playoffs, and that's when we came back and beat them. But he was technically right the first half, but no, I did not hear Mendoza.
What do you say about Mendoza?
Wasn't gonna be first.
Go pull it up. Apparently,
it's probably he wasn't gonna be he's not gonna be the consensus first pick. I'm assuming.
Said team should pretty much pause, like hit the pause button, and
he like that take. I like that take.
I mean, I'm not terrible at that. I don't think. I feel like I mean, if you're not,
I got an end stream, fellas. Let's go punch those tickets.